Hello everyone and welcome to A Slice of My Life. This is a little bit overdue, but hey, better late than never, right? In this video, I'm going to be featuring these Spydernox Ramblers here, and these are made by Tyler Schultz, aka MINI.SWISS.KNIVES on Instagram. Now, I spoke about these very briefly in my knife collection video, and I guess you could say that my journey so far in this custom SAK realm started with my very first custom Spydernox Rambler made by Sean Dooley, aka SAK 58mm Custom, or is it SAK Custom 58mm or something like that? I'm sorry Sean, I don't mean to butcher your Instagram account handle, but I can never get that order right. To be fair, I'll put it up on screen so that you guys can see. So yeah, as I was saying, I got my very first custom Spydernox Rambler through him, and then that led me to joining a custom SAK Facebook group. And sometime late last year, I saw someone post a picture of these, and it was Tyler himself, and he was saying that he actually does these builds. Now, I've never actually handled a full G10 Spydernox Rambler before, so I thought I'd give it a shot. So this was the first one I actually bought from him, and it was really quick. Like, he actually had I think it was like a 4-week turnaround time, which was really fast. He actually made this within 2 weeks, and then, well, 2 weeks for shipping from the USA all the way here to Singapore. And I have to say that it was a really smooth and fuss-free transaction. Just speaking to him, he's a really friendly guy, and he gave me options to choose what kind of G10 colors I would have for both the scales and the liners. So just a quick overview of this, and I'm using this because this one over here is all made in natural jade G10, which could be a bit hard to see. So using this with a higher contrast in terms of color choices, I've got light grey G10 scales, and I've got bright orange liners. So these are the parts that you could choose from, and I believe that you could even have like all 5 completely different colors if you wanted to. On top of that, I got to choose the color of the hardware, so I went for gold in this build, and I chose to have a kind of like a darkened finish for the pocket clip and the tools. So this is kind of like stone washed, acid washed, I guess you could say. But yeah, it does have a pocket clip on the back. Of course, there is an option for you to choose not to have a pocket clip as well, but I went for that because I thought it would be really handy to have a pocket clip. So what is a Spydernox Rambler? For the uninitiated, it basically is a SAK classic, I guess, a 58mm style. Like you can see I have a 58mm here, just to compare so that you can see that it's the same length, but it does have this Spyderco blade. I have to be honest, I'm not so sure exactly which Spyderco knife they took this from, but I think it's that little keychain Spyderco knife. And you could see that this one has a finishing as well. It is darkened and it is resharpened, so it's done very well. And the other tools that I featured is this bottle opener slash Phillips head screwdriver. And on the other side, you have the standard SAK knife. And of course, last but not least, we have the scissors attachment, which is one of my favorite attachments on a mini-sized SAK. Now, the downside is that for Tyler's builds, there isn't any slot for your toothpick or your tweezers, and I actually really like the tweezers a lot. And that is the result of a few factors in my opinion. One is that it's just the materials he's working with. It's kind of hard to get that slot out in G10. Number 2, maybe he doesn't have access to the right machines to do that. But yeah, I mean, the standout tool definitely is this Spyderco blade. Now, I do have to point out that for Tyler's builds, what I really like is the fact that this blade isn't horizontal or completely flush. You can see that there's a slight angle here, and that could be due to the way he cut it out or something. I'm not so sure. But I must say that in the closed position, that tip is actually quite well hidden. It's like really flush, and I'm saying that from experience because I've accidentally cut my index finger before by rubbing along this area on one of the older Spydernox Ramblers that I have. I didn't realize that it wasn't sitting completely flush, so that happened. But for Tyler's builds, I must say that they are sitting completely flush, so no worries there. Like I was talking about, when it's fully open, what I like is that there's an angle there, and this is actually a little bit more ergonomic in terms of when you're using this to cut stuff, because there's like that area here where you could actually really reach down all the way, like, see, so you wouldn't have to hold your knife in a weird angle, a weird position. Like, you know what I mean? When you're using the knife attachment, the standard knife attachment, it always opens up completely horizontal, and then you have this tool over here kind of like blocking you, so you're not able to get the full length of that flat down. But with the Spydernox or the Spyderco blade, I should say, you actually are able to do that because of this angle. So yeah, I like this feature. It also comes with this cute little lanyard, and Tyler ties them on every single build. Now, I mean, you could request for a color. I never did. So for this build, he chose this brown, and then for the natural G10 build, he chose a seafoam blue. For me, this actually works out really well because when I have this in my pocket, this provides a nice, I guess you could call it like a pull. I don't want to say the word zipper pull because it's not a zipper, but it does provide a very comfortable, very tactile area for you to grip and yank it out of your pocket. So I really like that he actually takes the time to tie all of these by hand as well, right? I think it's a really, really nice touch. So good job on that, Tyler. Now that I've spoken to you guys about the details on this particular build, all of that is actually mirrored here as well. But it's just that for this particular build, the options that I went for are a bit different. So you could see that the hardware here is silver, not gold. And also the finish on the pocket clip as well as all the tools is the stock mirror finish. I mean, this looks like it's a mirror polish, right? It could be something else, I don't know. With the exception of this Spyderco blade, this one actually has that satin finish, so you could see that rub direction, right? Satin finish. Now at this point, I want to say that with that mirror finish, you actually see the word Spyderco kind of cut off, like it reads Spyderc. That O is completely cut off, right? Versus this one with the darkened finish, it's not that obvious. So if that's something that's gonna irk you guys, if you're gonna face some OCD issues with that, then that's something you might want to consider. For me, it's completely fine. And yeah, it's still got the same angle and everything. I really like the way he's done this. So yeah, just running through with you guys really quickly about the other tools. It is that bottle opener and that Phillips head screwdriver. I don't know what this notch is. Is anyone able to kind of enlighten me what this notch is about? Is it like a wire cutter? I don't know. Just yeah, hopefully someone can enlighten me on that. And then of course on the flip side, you have the scissors as well as the standard SAK knife attachment, or blade I should say. And then of course, last but not least, the nail file with that flathead screwdriver or pry bar at the tip. For this one, I also went for a pocket clip. You guys saw that already. And so these are my two Spydernox Ramblers from MINI.SWISS.KNIVES. And well, last but not least, I know you guys are wondering about the price point. So for me, I actually got these from Tyler at $125 US, and that price is excluding shipping. But for $125, I'm actually really surprised at that because the quality of this build is actually really good. Like, you guys heard the walk and talk, right? And I really like that everything here is so seamless. Like, look at that, guys. The gaps in between the liners and stuff. The fit and finish is all really well done, and on the back, especially where the screws end, it is completely flush. Like, they're not jutting out in any way whatsoever, and all this just feels really, really good. I mean, yes, the screws here on the front are raised a little bit, but they are not sharp, so they don't snag whatsoever. And I think that for $125, this is really, really worth it. Super customizable, and you get something that is really just reflective of your own personal character. Like, you could easily just choose any kind of G10 color combination as long as, you know, he has access to that G10 color. I don't know if he'll ever work with other material. I could totally see him working with like polycarb or something and then create a totally completely clear version. I think that'll be really, really cool. Most recently though, I saw him post a picture of a mini champ build. I may be wrong. I'll put the picture on screen anyway. And for that build, I believe he kept the stock scales, and that's because the customer requested for that. They were going to swap it out for aftermarket scales on their own. But I just wanted to share that with you guys so that you know that he's not limited to just these Spydernox Ramblers in terms of build or the options that are available. But you know, I think it's really cool what he's doing, and I hope that he keeps it up because I think his work is really, really good. I am looking forward to what offerings he will have in the future. Maybe he'll be able to access machines that are able to get that slot out, because I really, really am a huge fan of the tweezers here. So to have this with tweezers in there, that would be super awesome, right? And I think that these would make wonderful gifts if you're looking for something custom to get a loved one, for example, or maybe your best bud. I think this is a great way to go. With the color choices, the pocket clip, and the finishing options on this, I think that's really, really awesome. So keep up the good work, Tyler. Once again, everyone, Tyler is MINI.SWISS.KNIVES on Instagram, and that basically is it. I basically put this out here and didn't use it because, you know, I realized that you didn't really need a size comparison, right? It is the same 58mm size. However, I do have some lighters. This is like a standard size lighter, and I have a big XL lighter just so that you guys can have a size comparison to something that is more commonly available. So yeah, these are going to sit in your pockets very comfortably. I guess the most important size comparison would be the thickness of it, and so yeah, there we go. This is the thickness. It is almost double the thickness of a standard classic SAK. So yeah, this is it. This is what you're going to be working with, or this is what you're going to be getting, I should say. That is it, everyone. Thank you so much for sticking all the way throughout and sharing in this slice of my life, and I hope that you found this video informative. If you like the content that I'm putting out and you want to see more, please consider subscribing to the channel. It would mean a lot. And if you do subscribe, make sure that you hit that bell as well to stay notified whenever I post a new upload. Also, I run a Patreon page. I'll put a link up here to that in case you want to go check it out. Yeah, I do have Patreon exclusive giveaways from time to time. I have exclusive content there. So, yep, if you do become a patron of mine, thank you so much in advance. Stay tuned for all the goodness that is to come. And that is it, everyone. Once again, these were the Spydernox Ramblers made by Tyler Schultz, aka MINI.SWISS.KNIVES on Instagram. Really good value for money in my opinion, and very awesome looking Spydernox Ramblers in my books. Thank you so much, and I'll catch all of you in the next slice of my life. Until then, everyone, Gaga Boost.